Maybe some of you might be able to identify with some of the experiences that I've had on this small part of my life journey. And if that is the case, I would be delighted if my experiences and learning could benefit you in your journey too. You see, 18 years ago, the person who answered to the name of Jane Cox was a very different person to the one who answers to that name today. It was a hell of a journey down to those levels of despair, and it's been a mighty journey to the levels I find myself at today. But that journey has been priceless in so many ways, and effectively, it was that journey that has created the person that I am today. Every one of us has a journey that has shaped us into the person that we've become. So let me share just a little bit of those life-changing decisions with you. So, that Jane, she was in her late 20s, mother of a baby and a toddler, living in South Africa, and in the depths of chronic depression. It had been such an eventful few years. My little brother, the only sibling I will ever have, had been gunned down in an armed robbery at the age of just 21. My parents had fallen apart at the loss of their son. They decided to move back across to my dad's native country of Ireland, which was away from the violence of a country that had robbed them of their son. I miscarried a baby the night that he died, with the sheer shock of what had happened. And I'd been so determined to help my parents cope with what had happened, and so busy organising his funeral and everything else that comes with the unexpected death of a family member, that when I collapsed, I felt like I had just run headlong into a brick wall. I simply couldn't function. On top of this, I was in an abusive marriage. My then husband was a very, very uninvolved father, a heavy-handed disciplinarian, and an emotional manipulator. And I had absolutely no self-esteem at all. That young girl that I had been was no longer recognizable. I was so lost, so alone, and so overwhelmed. It's just not a good place to be. But unfortunately, it sadly is a place that a lot of people can identify with for a number of different reasons. And as tough as this was to go through, it actually turned out to be a life-altering state of mind. I remember thinking that I had to move myself out of this place. I had 2 young children counting on me. So I started going to counselling for the first time in my life. And for me, that was a space that belonged to me. For that period of time, nobody else was encroaching on that time. It was a place for me to start untangling my thoughts, to make sense of my life experiences, claim back my right to have ideas of my own and dreams of my own, and slowly rebuild the strength and the determination to make my life happen my way. And one of the most important decisions that I made was to hold myself accountable for at least 3 positive actions of progress a day. And I would write these down in a book every evening. What 3 things had I done that were bringing the future forward in a way that worked for me? And sometimes they were small and sometimes they were big. Sometimes that was doing important tasks that I might have been procrastinating. Sometimes it was spending really special time bonding with my beautiful babies. Sometimes it would be something that would move my career forward, and sometimes it was just something that I did for me, to remind myself that I was worthy of love and that love had to start from within me. The second important decision that I made was to follow through on my long-term plan of studying psychology. Why was my husband behaving the way that he did? Why was I allowing it to happen? If you'd asked me as a teenager what I would have done at the very first sign of abuse, I would have very self-righteously declared that I would leave the relationship. And now, here I was in that very situation, and I was actually too scared to leave. During the course of those first few months, those 3 little positive actions a day held my determination in place. I felt like I was in a rough storm at sea, battling waves, and this was the rope that I had to climb up to escape the pounding of those waves. Just one hand over another, again and again and again, until one day I realized I could breathe. I could see and think and feel. My head felt clearer, and I felt just a little bit lighter. And now the decisions that I made became a bit more strategic. The actions I needed to take seemed more clear. I was still fearful, but I was not going to allow that fear to be bigger than my faith in my own abilities to move forward. It was a massive breakthrough moment for me. As I studied psychology and I gained a deeper understanding of the hows and whys of people and their behaviors, my hunger to learn more and more just continued to grow. So I ended up with a doctorate in psychology and opened my own personal psychology practice, which was so far removed from the world of advertising and public relations that I had been working in. I got such a thrill out of working with people and seeing such fabulously positive results. I loved being that place of safety where people could lose their inhibitions and talk about anything and everything, with the knowledge that all of our conversations were completely confidential. I loved the thrill of watching people make sense of their past and let go of so much that was burdening down their present. And my hunger for knowledge was huge. I moved on to another doctorate in natural medicine and then on to another in metaphysics. I felt like I needed to understand as much as I possibly could about people. I wanted to have emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual insights, because for me, they moved in tandem, and together they could support any journey that any person was taking. But now I saw a new opportunity, and it really excited me. I was already helping people to walk away from the burdens of their past. I was helping them to regain all of their energy and passion that had got lost along the way. And I now was seeing people get to that moment where they realize that things are possible and that they are capable. But what was the best way of making sure that they didn't repeat some of the errors that might have cost them so heavily in the past? Wouldn't it be sad if they fell into that pattern of recreating what they had worked so hard to leave behind? And this is when I discovered coaching. What a great tool it is to help people to make decisions that seem right for them, to give them the space and the time and the freedom to think things through and explore ideas without judgment, to plot the path and then take that journey one step at a time towards their future. There is something so incredibly special about witnessing people create success, whether it's in their business, happiness in their relationships, abundance in their finances, and joy in all the areas of their life. My life today is so different to my life then. I live in England now, right on the other side of the world to where I first started. I'm married to a man that I love, not a man that I fear. Those little babies are now very well balanced and happy young adults. And I have loads of knowledge and experience and a career that enables me to share that knowledge with others and make a real difference. And I indulge my passion for variety and huge amounts of travel, and it's business and pleasure for me. So all of us have areas in our life that could do with attention. All of us have got dreams and hopes and fears and a desire for our life to be a happy one. So I would love to take this opportunity to share with you 5 tips that may help you to find your happiness. So number 1, no matter where you are and how impossible things may seem, there is always a way to start making a change. Nothing is permanent. The best you can do is to find that one thing that you can start doing right now, or that one area that you can approach first that will break the inertia and start creating positive change. Number 2, there is no dream that is too big. There is no goal that cannot be achieved, whether it's in your career, your relationship, your personal goals. They may well take time and probably a lot of hard work, but you can literally create your own destiny. Number 3 is live your life according to your rules. If you truly believe something or you want to make a change, do that thing. I see so many people living their lives according to the rules of others, and often those other people setting the rules have got their own plans and outcomes that might not match yours. So sometimes you just have to let them take their journey while you take yours. Number 4, there's a beautiful African proverb that I would love to share with you. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It is absolutely great to find like-minded people to move forward together. Use coaches all the time, even if you are a coach yourself. We all benefit from having a space in which we can dig deep in a safe and supportive environment, from having the opportunity to brainstorm and to explore, and very importantly, we benefit from being held accountable for our actions. And number 5, keep yourself well outside of your comfort zone. People often fear change or failure or disappointment or hard work. But actually, when we strip away all of the rubbish, what is the real fear? For many of us, the real fear is a life wasted, opportunity lost, or lying on our deathbed one day thinking, if only. That comfort zone is where dreams go to die. So challenge yourself and do the things you've never done before or that seem a little bit daunting, and you'll surprise yourself by what is possible and feel absolutely amazing when those dreams start becoming your reality. So to all of you, it has been such a pleasure joining you. Thank you so much for your time and for being one of those people who share their skills and talents and make our world a better place. So from a chilly English winter's night, I wish you a fabulous afternoon together. Goodbye.